Hey, welcome to day number 38 of this 100-day video challenge. Now, I don't know if you have gotten to know the SalesVision community yet, if you've joined a community call that we've had. You're free to join. Let me know. Contact me and I'll give you the link. But one thing I want to talk about today is the need for strong leadership in order for a community to be great and inspiring and helping each other and just be awesome, you know? So we had a community call this week, and in that community call, one of the SalesVision leaders, Gillian Ortega, told her story. Now, Gillian is the mother of Vincent Ortega. Vincent Ortega is the one who founded SalesVision. But Vincent learned the tricks of the trade, so to speak, from his mom, because she's made over $60 million in revenue at MaryKay and is national sales director at MaryKay. So she knows what she's doing, and she is teaching all of that to the SalesVision community. And one thing that's important to understand is the concept of coaching. In order for you to be successful, you can either learn everything by yourself, or you can learn it from others who have already gone where you want to go. So if you turn to the successful people and learn from them, it will be quicker for you to gain success. Because the people that you learn from, and of course it's important to choose the right coaches for yourself, but the people that you learn from, they have already done mistakes. They know how they have gotten to where they are, and they can teach you that. They can guide you. If necessary, take you by the hand. All good and fair, right? The goal is to get you successful without losing time and without making the same mistakes that other people have already made. So that's why it's sensible to look for a coach and learn from other people. And the successful people actually do just that. If you look to any successful people, they all have coaches. So I've got coaches, personal coaches myself, and I also coach people. But that's the way it works in business if you're willing to put in the extra effort to climb the ladder in wherever you are. And I'll prove to you that that's sensible, and you'll understand why if you turn to the world of sports, because you would probably agree with me that any successful team has a great coach, and a great coach makes successful teams. But also in individual sports, for the Olympics, for I don't know, ice skating or whatever, you need a good coach in order to make it to the top, right? So that's the same in business. So turn to strong leaders, turn to communities that are led by strong leaders, and you'll benefit the most. And that's what you'll find in the SalesVision family. Very strong leaders, a very great community, people that are willing to help each other. And that's the formula for success, especially when it comes to talking to people. If you're coming out of the world of network marketing, you know how important that is. If you come out of the world of affiliate marketing, you also know how important that is. So without further ado, I will now hand over to Gillian and show you that recording of that community call we had today where she told her story, so that you can make your own decision about what strong leadership there is in SalesVision, and then make that hopefully a basis for your decision to join us, join the family. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. I'll help you, and I'll be excited to see you in one of the next community calls. All right, so have fun. I'll see you tomorrow. And now over to Gillian. Bye-bye.
Didn't want to miss anybody because I can only see one screen when I'm getting ready to share a screen with everybody. But listen, you guys, I'm always thrilled to see everybody here. It just says so much about where you want to take your company within SalesVision and how you're going to learn and expand your thought process and take you to that next level of excellence. Well, I want to share with you a couple of things that have nothing to do with what I'm going to share with you here in a minute, but it really hit me today. I don't know how many of you watch Kramer on cable. Anybody watch Kramer? He's the kind of the wild man that talks about money and investments, and he's always dinging the bell or ringing off something. Well, he talked today about, because you know the news media is painting such a fascinating picture, let's just say, okay, about the economy. And so you get to choose what you want to listen to and what you don't. Isn't that awesome? We have a choice. We get to listen to what we want. Now, Kramer, you know, he's been statistically pretty darn brilliant, along with Dave Ramsey and a couple of others. And that's something we're going to be getting into in our Life Mastery 360 is your money blueprint. But he was talking today about there are so many people all over the world that are now recreating themselves because of what has just happened to us, right? And as we're opening up doors, he said, don't underestimate the men and women, not just in America, but around the world, that are recreating themselves through an online business. So I wanted to give you a round of applause and for you to applaud yourself. Or some of us, you know, we're learning how to hug ourselves if we've not been around a lot of our family and friends. So you can hug yourself if you want to, and if not, just give yourselves a thumbs up on that. But I love that, and words have power, you know. So when you're looking at pursuing your dreams, some of us pursue them at 5 miles an hour, and some of us pursue them at 65 miles an hour. I don't know if y'all remember when you first learned how to drive. I learned how to drive when I came to America, and Vince Sr. would tell you it's just as well. I knew a lot of his friends on the police department because I was a fast driver. Is anybody on here that would admit that they were a fast driver at first? Until they learned that there are speed limits and there are places that you can't speed, but you're not going anywhere if you're not putting your foot on the accelerator. And so when you're looking at your life, what I'm going to show you first is my story and you know, where I came from, why I am the person I am today. And then I'm going to take you into goal setting and the trigger cycle, because we all have great intention. So what happens is something will trigger you to either stop you or to help you accelerate in life. And most people who don't put their foot on the accelerator of their life normally don't go anywhere. It's like a car in idle. You ever seen a car just sit there and it's just idling? You know, like in the winter, you know how we turn it on to get it warm, right? We all do that. Well, you know, it's not going anywhere. It might be keeping us warm, but you know, we're not on a journey. So tonight we're going on a journey. Who's excited? We're going on a journey together tonight. So I'm thrilled to show you, first of all, my story, because I believe everybody here has a story, and I'm going to share my screen. Let me share my screen. And Damien, I know you're here, and I'm going, there you are. There's Damien. Okay, so Damien, you know, I'll be pulling into my training in a little while when we talk about goal setting and vision and all of that. And we had a great little chat on, I think it was Saturday, in PM on the private messenger part of Facebook, because when you reach out, you know, we're gonna answer you back and give you suggestions and thoughts that might just shift you from being an idle to going on into your dream, not maybe 5 miles an hour, but 65 miles an hour. In Damien's case, I saw the cars he had on his vision board, probably 100 miles an hour, knowing Damien. Just saying. So Damien, that was just for you to chuckle. So I know he's probably going to be putting something in the chat, but let me share my screen with you real quick, Vince. I need to do that real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see.
No, when I see it.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Let's see it. Okay, now let me find where I wanted to take you. Hang on. Okay, so I'm going to share with you my story. Let me just kind of collapse this up here. I hope it's not disturbing anybody, because I know that we can still probably see some people's pictures. Vince, you probably know more about how to collapse that than me.
I can see you.
But can you see all the other frames though? I was trying to collapse that down so it wouldn't bother anybody.
I can only see, well, I mean, I can hear you and I can see the PowerPoint perfect.
Oh, okay. So nothing else is showing up. Good. Okay. All right. That's the whole idea. All right. So a lot of people ask me, okay, so what drove you to do what you've done in your life? And we're all, like, we talked about the trigger cycle last week, and I'm going to come back to it here in a little while. But what happens to us in life and our core beliefs and values, for those of you that didn't hear this last week, then you've usually typically learned that between the ages of 3 and 7. So I'm going to share with you my story. Why did I come to America? What happened to cause me to leave, to come to America? So let me see if I can get this thing to start here real fast. Let me just close this down. 1 second. There we go. All right. I came to America with $20 in my pocket, but I had a dream. So I'm going to ask you all right now to write down your dream. What is your dream? Write down maybe 3 things. I came with just $20 in my pocket and a dream. My dream was to come and live in the richest, freest country in the world. I always watched TV shows in Ireland, and back then, this is going to date me a little bit, but Dallas and Starsky and Hutch and Chips and all those things were out on TV in Ireland. We had a little black and white TV set, so we'd watch it all the time. So I always wanted to come to America. I had a vision. So I want you to write down, without the vision, there are no future plans in our life. So we got to have a vision. We got to have a vision. If you don't, if you've had a vision and somebody has kind of squashed it, that's called a vision vandler. Somebody who's vandaled your dream. It's like vandling a piece of property. They just took it away. So that's all I had when I came to America first. Whoops. I'm trying to figure out why this won't go forward here, Vince. Okay, I got it. Okay, so here's what happened. In Ireland, what drove me to come? Okay, so here's all of my mom's boyfriends. She had all these men in her life, and she ended up with my dad. So that began the story because they wanted to have a family. Now, how many of you know there's no certainties in life? And there certainly wasn't for my mom, because at the point that she had her first child, she suffered a stroke on the delivery table, and they said that she would never have any more children, and it took her a year to learn how to walk, how to talk, and how to write again. So I learned a lot of strength from my mother. The doctors told her, give up on having any more children. You're out of your mind if you think that that's something you should do. My mom was very stubborn. I don't know if there's any stubborn people on here, but I have a feeling that a lot of you are. So she would just pray, and she just asked God to please not take away that one dream she had in her heart. So she obviously won. So she went on to having, look at how many are on the picture, 5, but there was one more at home. She ended up having 6 children, 6. And her main goal was so that she could have a son to carry on the Hennessy name. That is my maiden name. So how many of you figured out then there's no certainties in life, either bad or good? You know, it's all in how you're programming yourself to believe. So your goals have to be smart goals. And I'm going to come back and talk about that in a little while. So my father, because of having a large family, his wife being handicapped, he owned his own business as well. He brought the first German car to Ireland, and that was back in the 1950s. He became what they called a situational alcoholic, which was very sad. So back then, they didn't have any treatment for that. It was a generational thing, and he didn't know any different. That's the only way he knew how to mask pain. So that, of course, led to domestic abuse, and then it went from there to Dad dying of alcoholism at 42. Now, when he was alive, he was able to keep everything floating. My mom didn't know that he didn't have anything saved up, or we had no life insurance, because back then, women just didn't ask their husband. So he left my mom penniless. So she had to apply for what they call a widow's pension in Ireland. And so widow's pension in Ireland back in those days, if you're comparing it to today's monetary value, is $87.50. So, but Mom never made us feel like we didn't have anything. So over on the left of your screen, I'm thinking you're all seeing on the left of your screen, you're going to see my brother and myself dressed up in, and those were dry cleaning bags back in the day. They were paper. And she would have us dream and visualize having, the best of everything. So for me, she would have me dream and visualize of, dressing up like she used to be able to and being a princess, and finding your prince one day. And then to the right, you'll see me in my first prom ever. It's called a debut in Ireland, Debs, they call them. And that was a bar dress that I got from my friend. It didn't fit. It was too big. So we pinned it all up on the inside. But Mom always taught us to snap out of it. So before I go on with the rest of the story, I want you to click your fingers in front of you and go, girl or guy, you got to snap out of it if you want to move forward. So you just click your fingers in front of your face, in front of the mirror, in front of your rear view mirror, whatever it is as you're going towards your dream. And if you have a negative thought, you get to change your state at any given time. She taught me that at a very young age. This was the big turning point for me, however. Most of you probably always wanted to go see the Blarney Castle. My mom needed 42 pennies for me to go with the class at school, and she didn't have it. And that was the first time I ever saw my mother cry. And I don't know if you've ever seen your mother cry, but when I saw my mom cry, I remember just holding her face in my hands and saying, Mom, someday you are never going to cry again. And I promise you, this is not going to be our story. I'm going to do something about it. Now, the whole big thing with the Blarney Castle, and the reason why I wanted to go into this castle, at the very top right, the very, very top turret of that castle is that supposed to be this magic stone. And if you kiss it, then you're no longer going to be shy, you're not going to be an introvert, and you'll have what they call the gift of eloquence and the gift of the gab, which means that you'll be able to get along with anybody and be around anybody and never ever feel intimidated. So I wanted to go into that castle really badly, but it didn't happen. So Mom used to take us to the beach. That's not a picture of us. We didn't own a camera, but I just grabbed that one off the internet. And so I show this when I travel around, and when I've traveled around for years with MaryKay. And what we used to do is we lived close to a beach, so we were able to get to that beach, and this is what we did. We buried each other in the sand. And we just had fun. And there we would dream about, like, we'd see all these big ships coming into Cove, County Cork. I don't know if any of you have ever been there, but you'd see these big American ships. You'd see them from Australia. You'd see them from all over the place, coming in from all over Europe. And we would just dream about being on one of those ships. And we saw their beautiful clothes and what they came off the ship with. And I looked at my sister one day and I said, someday that's going to be us. So God gave me a dream. That's a fabulous picture, don't you think? That's probably the only picture I have of me that age. I just turned, I think, 17. But God gave me a dream. And the dream was, well, I don't know if you remember the show The Nanny, but supposedly it's coming back in some sort of form or fashion. But I didn't dream about becoming a nanny, but I had a dream about coming to America. And I got an opportunity to come to America. And this couple, they worked for the IBM Corporation. Now you'll know why I went into running systems and became a systems operations manager, was because of this couple that ended up inviting me over. And that happened over time. So this is what I saw when I saw the United States. My journey began because of the TV shows too in Ireland. Well, look at the guy at the right. Well, of course, I dreamt about Eric Estrada. He was my guy. He was the one that I knew that I would meet when I came to the United States. So I was excited about the adventure, but I was mostly excited about coming to change my mom's life. And if that happened, if I met an Eric Estrada, then that would be just an extra bonus for sure. My mom wasn't happy. She didn't want me to come. She said, you have to come home in a year. And of course, that never happened. Mom ended up coming here instead. So I found my Paunch, and if those of you that are in my age group remember that show, Eric Estrada's name was Paunch. So I found him in Kansas City. There's my honey. Some of you have seen him live on here. This actually was a picture that they took when they escorted him home after he retired as Deputy Chief, second in command of our city. And one of the traditions is that they escort you home, and that is their salute to you for your service when you are a Deputy Chief. Isn't that awesome? So he never rode a motorcycle, by the way, but they did let him pose for that picture for me. So Vince, of course, asked me to marry him. I met him 2 days, actually, no, not 2 days, a week a week. It was a week after I arrived in the United States, and Vince asked me at the end of that first year if I'd marry him, and of course I said yes, but I had no money for the wedding dress, and of course Mom didn't have any money, so what did I do? So just like all of you that are on here, you know, when you have a goal, then you'll move towards your most predominant thought. So my goal was, of course, to figure out how I was going to get the money for the dress. I was a nanny. That $20 a week wasn't going to make much of a difference. I did get a raise, by the way. I got a raise up to $25 a week. This is back in 1979 and 1980. So there was a radio ad that came on the radio when I was taking care of the little girl for it to be an NBA cheerleader. Well, I did a little bit of dance in Ireland, not a lot, but nothing professionally. But I thought, hey, I'm going to go try out. So everybody thought I was crazy. And it was in the middle of a great big mall, if you can imagine. And so all these girls were there doing this, and I had never done a split in my life, and I definitely could never jump as high as this girl. But I just in my heart said, I am going, and I'm going to see what happens, because nothing ventured, nothing gained. Well, but I had a great attitude too. So I want you to write that down. Your attitude will determine your altitude. Your attitude will determine your altitude. And of course, what happens? They ended up picking me. So you'll absolutely gravitate people to you. They'll come towards you and offer you things that they normally may not have, because when you've got an attitude, you're like a magnet. So you're the light that when you walk into the room lights up. We talked about that, I think, last week. Or are you the one when you walk out of the room lights up? Well, it was an NBA cheerleader, never cheered before in my life. They taught me how to do it. And they said, we will teach you, because you got a great attitude, and some who are the pros over there don't. They have stinking thinking. That's where I learned that word or phrase, stinking thinking. So I cheered for 3 years with the Kansas City Kings. They're now the Sacramento Kings, for those of you that live in California or know of anybody that lives there, and they're doing great. So that was a wonderful moment in my life. And there's the squad, and most of us are still friends today. And that's pretty awesome. Some have moved away, and I just don't know where they are. But this is the squad. And so mission accomplished. I got the wedding dress. And so I tell everybody I danced for my wedding dress, and everybody thinks, oh my gosh, what was she doing? So no, it was legal, moral, and decent, of course. So as an NBA cheerleader, ended up, of course, being landed in an incredible family, as Vince Jr. would tell you, right, Vince?
So
Great family who serves. Most of them are first responders for the most part. And Pat here is a captain on the fire department. Currently, Joe's a captain on the fire department. Vince retired second in command of her city. And Mary was the shortest female firefighter, and then she retired from there, went on to do other great things. But she also is a professional boxer, and she is being inducted into the Hall of Fame in Las Vegas, as long as we can all get there, in August. This is the patriarch of the family, Gillian Ortega, and of course he inspired them all to serve, along with Anita, Vince's mom, who was a nurse. So Vince said, you'll go to college and you'll get a great career after we got married. And I said, okay. And here's my first car. How many of you love my first car? That was my first car I bought for $400. I was so proud of my first car. So never, ever, ever be upset with small beginnings, because it's the small things. And it's like when you look at, a chunk of coal, right? A diamond is just a chunk of coal made good under pressure. If there was no pressure on the coal, there'd be no diamonds on our fingers. Or in our case, when I was a part of MaryKay, definitely diamond rings. And the case of Linda, she's got all those beautiful beads that you saw last week. I mean, all those are diamonds, but they, of course, would never happen or been created without pressure. Our first house was 1,000 square feet. We loved that little house. First major career in systems operations was with that company for 7 years. I became a naturalized citizen. That's one of my most honored moments in life, besides getting married and having a baby, on the 200th year of the Constitution. So I had a new career. marriage, and then we decided to have Vince Jr. join. Isn't he cute, you guys? See, here's my why right here. I know you all are chuckling away and you're all muted out, but there was Vince. He was my why. I thought I could handle it all, but I was stressed out at work, but I had bills I had to pay. So I couldn't just leave my job. So I had to stick it out and try to figure it out. And I would drop him off at daycare, pick him up, and he would always be upset. And he'll still to this day will tell you he remembers the kid who broke his fire truck. Remember that, Vince? So, you know, I was under pressure, just like that chunk of coal. And I met a total stranger in a restroom at a Christmas party who said, I have the perfect opportunity for you. So it doesn't matter what company you're with, you've got to have that moment in time where you're open to change and open to listening to new ideas and new concepts. And of course, she brought me into the company. So then what did I do? Because I had 60-hour work weeks. Some of you still work a full-time job. I talked to some of you on private messenger, but I gave up 6 months of weekends for a lifetime of weekends, and 6 months to the day because I had a goal that I'm going to teach you a little bit about tonight. Then I nailed that goal. I had a target, and it was at the end of that 6 months, I was going to stay at home and be with Vince Jr. So, and that happened. And so 41 years ago, I want to share with you a couple of things that happened because I had the courage to set a goal, reach a goal, set a goal, reach a goal, set another goal, reach a goal, set another goal, and reach a goal. For year after years after year, I set another goal. Now, did I always reach the goal? Not always. And that's when I knew I needed extra training. And that's why I hired different coaches that coached me to the next level of success. And that's where Asia's going to come in and teach you so much about all of that infrastructure, because you've got to have an infrastructure to your company in order for it to grow. The same with your mindset. You've got to get your mind right and get your head straight. Otherwise, I could have lived back in that moment in Ireland when everybody told us we wouldn't be anything now because we were poor and Dad wasn't around anymore. So dreams come true if you just hang on to your dream. And how does that happen? From your vision board. And we'll come to that. So I had friends of a lifetime because I just kept moving forward one step at a time. You can't tell I'm proud to be an American, can you? I have a lot of American items. I always use that phrase, I can. There's no T on the end of American. Then course, there's a picture of Vince, Deputy Chief Vince Ortega, the first Hispanic, second in command in 126 years of the police force. Isn't that something? Now, he set a goal as well. So we set goals together. And because we set goals together, I believe a family that sets goals together stays together for sure. This year, we'll be married 38 years. Now he's the executive director of combat. He keeps setting goals too. You know, once you reach a goal in your life and you know that you're serving others, you'll want to set another goal after another goal because it is all about serving others. God turned my mom's scars into stars. My mom was handicapped. You can see that if you look at the left picture and you'll look at her hand. That hand never ever did open. It was handicapped for her entire life. She had a limp as well from her right side, and she could never feel a kiss on her right side because it was all her right side that had the stroke. But this is my beautiful mommy's picture here, and you'll see it, of course, on one of the boats that we had before the one that we have now. And me setting a goal changed her life. I want you to be thinking about that before going to goal setting. Your why should make you cry. Vince Jr. made me cry. My mama made me cry. My husband made me cry in a good way. And I want to really reiterate that. You know, I have no regrets. My mama passed away on, it's 4 years ago now, on my birthday. And I believe everybody keeps saying, how sad is that? And I keep saying, I don't think it's sad at all. I think it's because she left me that last gift of thanks for all the things that Vince and I had done for her, because when Vince had a big goal and I had big goals, we were able to do so many things for Mom. And she was with us for about 14 years on and off over the years. There's Mom and Howard. Mom did not ever remarry, but she never had a romance until she came to America. She met Howard at church. He was young at the time. He was like in his late 70s, and I say that tongue in cheek, and he would tell you today, he said, yes, I was young, and age is just a number, and mine's unlisted. My mom, of course, was quite a bit younger than Howard at the time. And she said it was the most amazing time she ever had in her life. And she was in love for, she said, the first time, which is just incredible. Mom and the dash. Mom, of course, passed away on my birthday. Howard passed away. But you know what? When you're looking at your dash at the end of the day, when we're all called home, you know, you don't have any control really over the beginning date or the ending date. The only thing you have control of is the dash in the middle. So write this down. What am I doing with my dash? What am I doing with my dash? That's the only thing that you have control of. The only thing. It broke my heart to lose my mom, but I knew also in that moment that when I was there and we said goodbye, that I did everything in my power for her that I could possibly do, and she knew it. And that's the thing, you guys. You got to hook your goal and your dream to a why that makes you cry. Mom left behind one of her treasured things, and it was this beautiful cabinet. And she willed it to me. I had no idea until we were there for her funeral. And my sisters, they said, well, there's no way you can get that to America. And I said, oh, I have a goal. I know how to get it there. So I put it on this great big freight liner here, and we sailed it across the ocean. Now, when you have a goal that's clearly defined, it's a goal you'll clearly attain, right? So that beautiful armoire is now in our dining room upstairs. And the most fascinating thing about it of all is it matches our dining room furniture. So when the Life Mastery 360 members get to come here for an event, which Vince is planning behind the scenes, then you'll get to see all that. You'll get to see these things up close and personal. My purple Gremlin to 14 pink Cadillacs. This is in front of MaryKay's home. And you'll see my license plate here, 1KC NSD. I put this up here also on purpose for you. I had my 1KC NSD, my promotion insignia, put on a license plate 5 years before my goal came through. So I want you to be thinking about how many times do we just stuff our dream away? Or how many times do we think it's more important what people think about us? So let's not do that. Let's just hide and shy away from it. Well, I chose not to. I learned to be bold from my mom. So I put it on my other car until I became a national sales director. So I want y'all to get excited about that. Because again, a goal clearly defined is a goal that you'll clearly attain. There's little Aria, little cutie pie. She loved the pink Escalade. Loves it. Loves the pink convertible now too. So we went from 1,000 square foot home to a 7,500 square foot home. Well, why do we need a house that big? Because I had a large national area we needed to entertain, and we didn't get the house for us. We bought the house so we could entertain the people that we loved, the people that supported us, and the people who helped us to achieve our dream. You can't do it on your own. You know, you need partners, you need people, you need an army, you need a village of people. You know, your vibe will attract your tribe. You might want to write that one down. Your vibe will attract your tribe. Whatever company you're running and you're learning from inside of SalesVision, your vibe has to be right. And so thinking about other people. This is one of the things we love to do, is invite the Children for Peace in Ireland into our home. We did this for many years, and they are a group of Irish children from the north in Belfast. And in Belfast today, they still have a lot of killing. They have a lot of really, really bad things going on in Belfast. So we invited them in, and half of the children are Catholic and half of them are Protestant. One of the biggest religious wars of our time, and it's still going on. So why Children for Peace in Ireland? So that we can teach them at this age how to get along. We teach them DISC, teach them personality traits, teach them how to set a goal, teach them how not to be the same, teach them how to break a generational curse. And that was very important to us. They had so much fun. Of course, you could see we gave them all pink cowgirl hats, and even the guys, I don't know if you can see if any of the guys got in here, they all got one too, and they were such good sports, they wore them because they were so grateful. A borrowed gown to new gowns. I have closets full of gowns now, so that if we ever do anything, you guys, if you ever do anything major and you need a gown, then you can just call me up and I bet you I'll have one for you. Husband's dream. You know, Vince had goals too, remember? So as you're setting goals, and if you have a significant other, you have got to bring them alongside of you. They have to have a goal as well. So that anytime I got a negative, anytime I got somebody telling me no, anytime I got anybody that just, had a fascinating attitude, then Vince would say, oh, honey, let's just practice. You're going to be just fine. Why? Because he had a goal too. And so it's important that you work together collectively. If you have a honey or a partner, even a mom, grandma. This is what I was talking to a few of you about. Damien was talking to him about his grandparents, how amazing they were. And he's going to tell you here shortly. But Vince's dreams came true. And then, of course, this was his ultimate dream, to have a yacht for his 60th. And that happened also. Why? Because we had a goal. We had a goal. So again, a goal clearly defined is a goal you clearly attain. So it's never too late to be who you might have been. George Eliot said that. So I can't imagine being on a skateboard going down the road like that, but I can imagine some of our kids doing it. Vince Jr. sure did it plenty of times, but he had lots of goals too and dreams along the way. As you can see, he achieved them. It's what's caught and not taught. So there's two of the cutie pies. There's Aria and there is Skylar. And then this was on my birthday, I think a couple years ago, but we had so much fun together. There they are again in another cute picture, one of my favorites. And Kiki too, she's the youngest one. And look, they're all over here in the convertible pink Cadillac XLR, but they weren't driving on the street. I just want y'all to know. We just went like one block to a neighbor's house, and then we had a princess tea party right here with this cutie pie. We had so much fun. So what's your dream? You gotta have a dream, first of all. Your dream will inspire you to do things that you normally would never do. What's your dream? What's your goal? What's your vision? Lupita Nyong said, no matter where you're from, your dreams are valid. Everybody's dream here in SalesVision and this family right here, all of you, your dreams are valid. And somebody said this, the poorest man or woman alive is not the man or woman without a nickel, it's the man or woman without a dream. So 20 to 4 million, and I came with $20 in my pocket, but I had a dream. See why dreams are so important? So what does one of the richest men in the world have to say? If you think being an entrepreneur is risky, try working for someone else for 40 years and living off of Social Security. Well, that couldn't be truer today. So is it time you stepped into your dream? I imagine you'd all say yes. So how? We become like the 3 people we hang with. I would write that down at the top of your notes, and I would circle it, circle it, circle it. I intentionally put myself around people who were dreamers and doers and believers and thinkers. But most of all, I surrounded myself with those who saw greatness within me, even when I didn't see it myself. And that's why Vince started SalesVision, created this company, because he has a vision for you to be able to sell your products, and not only to sell them, but impact people for generations to come. So, and also that equates to your legacy. So I would put a hashtag legacy somewhere on your notes. What's your legacy going to be like? That is key. So let me just come out of this for a second, Vince. I'm going to come back to you for a minute before we go into the other stuff. Now, how do I get back to you? Let me see.
Should be around there.
Okay, let's see. Whoops. I'm not sure how to get out of this thing, but hang tight, everybody.
See if it's on the very top of your screen, Mom.
Nope.
The Zoom bar.
It's not at the bottom, but maybe I need to get out of that one thing. Hang on one second. Let me just get out of here real quick.
Tell me what you're trying to find.
I just need to get over to Zoom again. So hang on one second. I know y'all are here. Here, I got it. Okay.
Cool.
All right. So first of all, before we go into the goal setting part here, there was a lot of chat, 166 people chatting away. Something resonated with somebody. Do you want to give me some feedback, Vince, before we start sharing the Canva?
Yeah, what did you guys love most about seeing Mom's story? Because that's what I kept telling you guys, like she started from nothing, her and Pops. Yeah. And that's what I love so much about what we're doing now, that, you know, everybody could look at me like, oh, Vince had, you know, all this foundation and all this stuff. It's not fair, right? Well, it comes down to like, I learned everything you're about to learn right now. See, so you saw the backstory, which is so perfect. I didn't even know mom was going to bring all that up. It's so cool. Now you see the backstory, and then what you're about to see today, it's like it's already in my brain. It's so crazy. Like when I'm going through these things, I was just kind of going through the document that mom put together and just, you know, putting the logo on there and here and there, whatever. And I was looking at it, I was like, all this stuff is like already in me. And that's because it was like drilled in me my whole life. And in like a, not in like a way like you have to know these things. It was what mom was doing anyways. I kind of like overheard it, saw it, heard her talking to other people about it. So it's like the record player, I always talk about the record player. We got like this record player just playing in our head, and that's who we are. And like that's all I became. I just downloaded everything. And so it's so cool. It's like this is once mom and I started really coming together and like seeing why I am who I am, how we put this whole company together, I realized like everything you guys are about to get from her are the only reason I've been successful, because she wired that in her mind when she was younger. So it's cool. It's like just like a passing of consciousness, really, at the end of the day. It's like a whole conscious, a brand new shift that's going into your mind. And so mom's going to be talking about some deeper level things today that like are, when you start breaking down like the actual areas of your brain and what they are and why you're having fight or flight situations and all these things that mom's about to tell you, like that's what is already ingrained in me. Like I don't have fear. I don't have problems going after my goals or my dreams. I don't have any of these things that you guys have because of your ingraining of your childhood that fortunately I didn't have to go through. You see what I'm saying? Like that was the magic. So, you know, what you guys are about to go through, like take a hold of this stuff like in a way like different way from like, you know, there's master classes and trainings and all these exciting things out there or whatever, but like this is like, if you can really embody and ingrain what you're about to have into your life, like, and you watch this replay over and over and over again, I promise you, it's just going to drill in all of the things that you have always had stop you in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like if you guys are, say breakthrough over there in the comments, if you guys are ready to break through over there in the comments, because that's the key. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to have somebody that's going to help you break through. And that's why keep saying like, I've realized now, like if you don't have somebody guiding you every single week and getting into your mind every single week, like what's going to happen at lifemastery.com, like that's the magic. Like Life Mastery Fast is the key. So make sure you guys go to lifemasteryfast.com if you can get there, and just check that out, because this is you're kind of getting like an overview of what it's going to be like. This is still like the, you know, like what I like to explain it, this is still like a baby trying to crawl, right? You see what I'm saying? What we're going through right now. But at the end of the day, like if you didn't have what you're about to experience here right now, you're not even going to start crawling as a baby. You see what I'm saying? And for those of you guys, it's like you're entrepreneurs, you've been wanting to be an entrepreneur, free to do your life, but you've never really had a way to stand up and start moving forward, right? And so our software and our foundation and everything that we're doing right now, like it's great, right? And it's going to be better than most, and better than, I feel like it's better than anything in the world. But at the end of the day, I can give you all of these tools, right, that you're going to be able to have. But if your brain is stuck and allowing fear to hold you back and allowing all of your past, right, to hold you back from actually taking action, then it's never going to achieve anything. You're not going to do anything with the software that I give you. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I want you guys to understand, like, this is big deal that you guys are going to be going through right now. And so super excited that mom's giving it away to you for free, by the way, because I mean, you don't, like, she doesn't need to. And that's the exciting part. I'm like, come on, mom.
About empowerment. This is about empowering, right?
Hook them up. So I'm excited. Right. And I want you guys to know too that this is going to be the step-by-step process that your like free leads, right, that come in to use the digital software, they're going to actually get all of this, what we're talking about too now. So that's exciting as well. You're going to be giving people a free software to generate leads online. So you're like the coolest person ever, or you're sharing cool products with other people, and then they find out naturally, hey, I could make some money with it, right? And now they're going to go through all of these life transformational replays right now. And so you guys are going to get them dialed through the process. It's going to be so cool. And so you'll love when I put that sales video together. I think that sales video is probably going to be done this weekend too. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. So. I'm going to make sure it's done. How about that?
Mom's like, what could I do to make you do it? I'm like, well, I know,
right?
what's the opening 3 seconds? That's the craziest part about online
Oh,
sales.
I know, but I was just telling Vince, like I'll share it with everybody, is that just point and click, speak from your heart. You can do it.
For sure. All right, Mom. Well, go ahead. Yeah, if you have the do you have the latest Canva after I worked on it?
No, so you'll want to pull it up, Vince, and that's fine. You'll see
Okay.
what I'm doing as I go through, and then you can go ahead and slide it through. But Asia, if you can, like, I don't know if you can copy and paste over the comments into like a Google something for later. I know I did that one time because that's really important to me, because then I pray for you guys. And I think it's so important that you know that we're not just here just for a minute. We're here to lift your hearts for a long time.
For sure.
Well, would you like me to paste, Mom?
Like if you can go scroll back, like just highlight all the comments, because we don't have a chance right now to come back and answer everything.
Okay.
So what I do, like, and I've always done in my national area, is I'll highlight and I will copy all the comments and I put them into a document, and then I'll just read them later, and then I'll just pray for the different people with the different concerns, because we may not have a chance to get to all of that. So I want to make sure that you're all validated. Validation is huge in validating people's own life story too. You know what? And I love the fact that you all filled out the survey, and that Asia's just been working so diligently on that with Vince, and making sure that I really know who you are. And that means a lot to me.